X-rated, I said.
Well, not X-ray. No, we're not quite in that frequency range. But you're probably when I'm done, you're going to ask me why the sky is not violet.
Oh.
So everyone knows the sky is blue.
Yes.
The sky is blue. So I'm going to tell you why the sky is blue, but then you're going to probably wonder, why isn't the sky violet, right?
So get a prize if I ask?
Not if you ask, but if you know the answer, you'll get a prize.
Oh.
So everyone knows that all of our light comes from the sun, right? Pretty well known. And we know that the light from the sun is made up of different colors, so different colors. And when you combine all the colors, they become white. But the fundamental colors that come out of the sun are the old Roy G. Biv. Right?
Roy G. Biv.
Everybody knows Roy G. Biv.
Roy G. Biv,
You
Lauren.
probably know this.
Red, orange,
I, and B.
yellow,
So, red,
good, blue.
E, and we won't do them all, but we'll fill in a few here. And the one that we really want to fill in is the blue, and we want indigo. Nobody knows what indigo is.
Purple.
That's a new one that they made up. You know, didn't used to be an indigo, but they made it up using the blue and violet. So, but violet. So what happens is we all know that this is the light that comes into the earth from the sun, right? Well, each one of these reacts. These are photons, and they all react with the atmosphere, right? So the thing is, red has the longest frequency. So when you look at the frequency, it has a long frequency like this. Red light. Long. Like that. Orange has a little bit higher frequency. Yellow, a little higher. Frequency means they bounce up and down more, so there's more ups and downs in the same time. Blue has quite a bit. Blue actually interacts with the oxygen and the nitrogen, which is in the atmosphere, quite a bit. So every time there's a blue photon comes in, it hits an oxygen or a nitrogen molecule in the atmosphere and scatters. So it goes in all different directions. So when we're looking at the sunlight that's coming in, we see that scattering. So we look at that scattering that's coming in, and when we're at these distances that we see the short scattering, and the blue scatters the most. Why? Because it's a lower frequency. Now or a higher frequency. So there's even higher frequencies. There's even higher frequencies. So if you were to look at violet is like this. So it's really interacting with the molecules, particularly oxygen and particularly nitrogen in the atmosphere. So it's getting a lot of scattering with that. But what we see is blue. We see the blue. So there's a lot of scattering. So when we look at the sky, like today, what we're doing is we're looking up. We look up at the sky, and we look particularly at higher elevations, we see the blue. And we see the blue because there's a lot of scattering in that. But there's not so much scattering that we see the other colors. Blue dominates, and blue dominates all of that. It's a thing called Rayleigh scattering. The scattering is associated with the function, with the frequency of the light. So you would say, okay, the higher the frequency, the more the scattering, right? See, Kate's getting this. She's paying close attention to it, but she's got it. So the higher the frequency, the greater the scattering. So here we are. Here we are on the Earth. This is the Earth, right? Sun's over here. We're looking at that. So here we are, a little person right here. We're looking at the sun, and we see that coming through. We see blue light. Oops. We see blue light coming through. That's what we see, blue. Because of the scattering that's going on. It comes in, blue light comes in, hits a molecule, scatters. Goes in all those different directions. That's what we see. Because it's of that frequency. Lower frequencies, like red and orange, they don't scatter as much. They go straight through. They don't hit as many of the molecules. They don't hit as many of the oxygen and nitrogen molecules that are in the atmosphere. So they go straight through. So when we're over here, let's say we're over here, and we see a lot more, going through a lot more atmosphere, right? The blue gets washed out.
So why don't we see the violet?
So we
Got the
don't-
most ups and downs.
Hang on.
We see the red and the orange.
I'm getting to
Sunset.
the red, we'll get to the violet in a minute. But
30 seconds.
notice how you asked the question. See, you're already beginning to wonder. So,
Photons.
oh goodness.
I don't know what a photon, a whole other lecture.
Next year, 2014,
That's
we'll do
next
photons. We'll do photons.
There's
So,
a place to
over
sleep.
here you see all the blue scattering because that's what's happening. That's because they hit all these molecules. Well, the reds and the oranges, they don't hit something because they're a longer frequency, so they don't hit as many of the molecules. So when you're farther away, or when the sun is lower in the sky, you see the blues, you see the reds and the oranges. So those are the ones that actually penetrate. So you see blue there, and over here you see the red. So that's why you see red sunsets going through much more of the atmosphere. The red frequencies get through, the orange frequencies get through. So,
Violets.
right, you might say, why isn't the sky violet? Because they're much shorter, right? We see a higher frequency, higher interaction with the oxygen and the nitrogen in the atmosphere. So why don't we see violet? Because that should be the one that has the most scattering. Right? I mean, that's what you would think. Reason we don't is because we're humans. Humans, our eyes have been adapted such that violet, we're not very sensitive to violet. We don't see that frequency very much. Our eyes don't see a violet frequency. We're not sensitive to this portion of it. Additionally, before you ask that question, additionally, a lot of the violet gets scattered in the upper atmosphere. So those are higher frequencies, so they get scattered out in the higher atmosphere. So they don't make it down into the lower atmosphere. So violet doesn't make it into the portions of the atmosphere with it. If you go up higher and you went into a jet aircraft that was maybe into the 120, 150,000 feet, you would see violet. You would see more violet. These you don't. So two contributors. One, we as humans just fundamentally don't see violet all that well. Even when you look at a rainbow. When you look at a rainbow, the old Roy G. Biv rainbow, violet's hard to see. Hard to see that. Red's dominant because it gets through. Violet, less so. They're always difficult to see. So there you go.
Interesting.
Very nice.
East Africa, that's all?
All right.